Hi, it's Isabel, A Curious Tale. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'd like to talk about a tarot deck that I'm really enjoying working with at the moment, and it is the Voyager Tarot. So I actually have two editions of this. This is the first one that I got. It's from 1994. And this was published by, just check, Merrill West Publishing. And so this is the kind of older look of the box, which is I really like this one. And then I have, this is from 1998 and it's by Fair Winds Publishing. So I don't know if that's a different company altogether or if it's like a new incarnation or anything. I don't know the exact story, but this is the newer version, and this is the version I've seen a lot more of on the secondhand market, but I did get both of these secondhand, and the reason why I have two is I got this one. It was exceedingly cheap on Vinted because it's missing 6 cards, and I really loved it, and so I decided that I wanted to get an edition that I could use to read with properly. So I found, again, this also on Vinted for a great bargain. So this is the one that's pretty easy to find as well. So yeah, I just wanted to share this deck because I haven't seen too much of it online. Of course, it is online, but perhaps not as many videos and things as other collage decks. And I really love photo collage decks, so I just wanted to share something that's been inspiring me in case it's something that you're interested in, and then you can see if you want to purchase it, look for it, or perhaps if it isn't quite for you. And I also thought it would be fun, despite the 6 cards, I believe it is, that's missing from this version, I thought it would be cool to just contrast the two editions, because this version, it was first published in the late 80s. I should have mentioned the creator is James Wanless and the art is Ken Knutson. I'm not sure exactly how you pronounce it because it's Knutson. So yeah, those are the creators of the deck. And I thought it'd be fun to contrast both editions, because this version from the late 80s to early 90s, this one I've seen for very expensive secondhand. And then this version, which was available from the late 90s until now, I don't know if it's still in print. I haven't seen any new editions, but it was certainly available until much more recently. This one can easily be found for a very affordable price. So it might be interesting to see, is it worth investing in this edition, or is it so similar to the newer edition that you don't feel that it would be useful or worth it. But yeah, I thought it would be fun, and I just love collage decks. I love the approach of this deck. It's super vibrant, it's quite unique, very engaging, and it's very much the kind of deck that you could study the guidebook and use it and really use it as a study deck, or you could just keep it very free-flowing and use your intuition and use it as a starting point for creative projects and lots of things like that. And I also just wanted to mention, this is the mini guidebook from the later edition. The earlier edition I have, it may have come with a separate guidebook, but I don't have one. I just thought it was really interesting and perhaps a sign of the times how the creator spoke about the deck in the book, because I was just reading it the other day and I was thinking, oh sorry, this one actually is 2017 by Fair Winds Press. The earlier one must have been referring to a different edition. Perhaps that's when it was updated. But yeah, sorry, this edition is 2017, so actually much more recent. And so yeah, I just thought it was perhaps a sign of the times of the guidebook, how the creator spoke about the deck, because I was just thinking, with today's climate, I can't really imagine someone presenting their deck in quite this way, which I just found it really interesting. But it's very much presented as by the creator James Wanless as this is a new approach to tarot for the new millennium, now people are using tarot for business, for creativity, for community in all new ways, and that this deck is designed to like facilitate all these new uses for tarot readings. And so it's quite grand in its plans for how this deck and the creation of this deck was clearly designed to sort of spearhead a new approach to tarot that's very much rooted in times around the millennium and that sort of positivity, and yeah, it just sort of speaks about how the deck is really there to create a roadmap for life, to give a new perspective on tarot. And I'm just trying to flick through. Yeah, it says that the tarot itself is an empowering psychological process. The cards are to reveal who you are, showing your gifts and strengths as well as your limitations. It's a holistic map of consciousness and an integrated way of looking at yourself. So that it's meant to mix myth and storytelling with images from contemporary culture. And it also likens tarot to the game of life. And it's basically saying if you can learn how tarot works and how to read the cards and implement their advice, then you can essentially learn to win at the game of life, because as tarot represents all the archetypes that are in life, mastering one will help you master the other. So I thought that was interesting, and also just how it notes that it's also meant to be a living museum, because it's got so many photos from cultures all around the world. And it's with that I would give my only note is that while I think this deck is amazing in that, especially for a deck created so long ago, it really does show a wealth of diversity in the people represented in the deck. My one comment would be, if I were personally to make the deck today, I would just be a bit more mindful of certain groups of people are shown in a sort of contemporary manner, and other groups are predominantly shown in a traditional manner. Sorry, my storage ran out. But yeah, I would just try and show all groups of people in a range of different, I guess, roles, so that you don't run the risk of kind of making some, I don't know, some strange paradigm where like, oh, this group of people is contemporary and this group of people is only going to be shown in a very traditional manner. That's just a very small note, something like I would do, but again, it's not my deck. But yeah, and another note that's interesting is in terms of how this is structured, we have the major arcana, a few of the card names have been changed, and then for the suits, we have for air, crystals, so that would be swords, cups, water, cups, wands, fire is wands, and then pentacles is worlds. And then for the court cards, instead of the normal page, knight, queen, king, we have sage, child, woman, and man, with the idea that this is a family structure. And again, this is part of the deck's idea of sort of modernizing tarot, because it likens the traditional court cards to a more archaic structure, and then it wants to show a more contemporary structure with that. So it's quite interesting. And yeah, that's basically a short introduction to the deck, how it works, the different editions, and I think it'll be fun if we have a look through the editions of the deck together, just to see what the cards are like and if there are any differences between the two editions. So let's take a look. So here we have the two Voyager Tarot boxes, this one being the earlier edition and this one being the later edition. Hope you can see them okay. So I'm just going to go through them to show the differences again, so you can see which one you prefer and see if it's the price difference is reflected in a real difference between the two decks. So with the first one, but personally I love this box. I think it's so iconic, and I just love the font as well. But this one, when I got it, doesn't have a guidebook. I believe it might have had a separate guidebook or something like that, I'm not really sure. Whereas this one comes with, the newer one comes with a small guidebook, but it's pretty meaty as tarot guidebooks go, and it is all in English. So you're actually getting, let's see how many pages, you're getting 117 pages around about of meanings for each card, ways to use the deck, explanation of the deck, and all kinds of things. I've read this and I really enjoy it, so I think it's definitely meaningful. Now we can see the first thing that stands out is the difference in size between the two cards. So this more recent one I have put in order, and then this one I put in order, but I'll just make sure I reach the start so we can see the difference more closely. So just to be clear, I'm just checking if this has the title card. It's probably in here somewhere, but yeah, this is the more recent edition, so a smaller card size, and the earlier edition has a larger card size. You can also see the border on the more recent edition is definitely darker, and I would say in terms of the images themselves, the more recent edition is a little more saturated, a little darker in tone, but not too much, not too obvious. But you can see with the card size, very different. I personally prefer the earlier edition. However, I think the new edition is also great, and this size is still larger than a lot of tarot cards, certainly wider. So you're still getting a very good size card, and you can still see all of the detail. And in terms of thickness, I would say, if I had to say one is thicker, again, I would say this larger, older edition. But there's not too much difference. And again, this is still a nice, sturdy cardstock, so certainly no complaints. And the images are the same, but let's just go through them, and the backings are also the same. Hopefully there isn't too much glare on the cards, because these are really glossy, so they will definitely pick up glare. But yeah, just going through the cards, we can see the Priestess, this is the Empress, beautiful inclusion of nature, and the Emperor. So you can see that this deck is drawing on all different traditions from all around the world, and I think it's mixing them in a really eclectic and interesting way. The Hierophant is a card I particularly like in the deck, and I really like this, what I assume to be an opium poppy. I think that's got some really interesting meanings. We've got cave paintings, which appears to be Bhairab on a cave somewhere, a Buddha statue, elephant, lots of nature, and also a small child. So I feel like these collages, they're very rich in symbolism, and you can just use them as a jumping off point for just so many different ideas and answers to tarot queries. So the Chariot. Then we have, for number 8, we have Balance. So that would be instead of Justice, because it's following the thought system. And this card actually reminds me of the Tantric Dakini Oracle. I think there's a card in that deck with this diamond as well. Then the Hermit. This is a beautiful card. I really like it. The Wheel of Fortune becomes Fortune. Lovely use of gold there. Then we've got number 11, Strength. Again, using the more like Marseille or Dot system. The Hanged Man. Beautiful, rich colours. Number 13, Death. Then we've got Art instead of Temperance, which is a really interesting reframing of that card. With, again, lots of nature, vibrant colours. The Devil becomes Devil's Play, which is another interesting way of looking at that card. Perhaps on the surface making it more lighthearted, but I think when you delve deeper, not necessarily. The Tower. I enjoy how they use this sort of modern tower block, but then it also appears to have a sort of stained glass effect, so very interesting there. The Star, the Moon, the Sun. So again, these are the same names, but then for Judgment we have Time Space, number 20, and then for the World we have the Universe. And I think this is sort of reflected in the guidebook and just showing its own framing of tarot for the new millennium, as it says. Then we've got crystals, which is the suit corresponding to the element of air or swords. It's quite interesting because the other suits are very eclectic in their imagery, but the suit of crystals is pretty much only crystals. But I mean, given that there's such a wealth of crystals in the world to choose from, so it's still just as vibrant and eclectic as the other suits, but it's just quite interesting. And as you can see, we have these keywords at the top as well, which just adds, I mean, you could see it as it makes it easier to read if you're a beginner, but I think some of them, for example, for the Nine of Crystals, Nine of Swords, we have narrowness, which is quite an interesting word to associate with that card. So I think they aren't really obvious choices for the words, all of them, and that can also lead to seeing cards in a new light. This is when this is one of the cards that's missed because it's missing the Sage of Crystals. So it's interesting that the Sage, which is often associated with an older member of the family, because the court cards are the family in this deck, that comes before the child. I think that's an interesting idea. And then we have Child. The woman's also missing from this deck. So Woman of Crystals, then Man of Crystals. And again, Inventor is a very interesting choice of word for that. Then, okay, the Sage. Oh, I think this is before I realised that the, I thought that because I didn't have a guidebook, I had placed the Sage as sort of the top court card, but it actually isn't. There we go, just pop it back in order. I've probably done that with the other suits as well. So then we have the Ace of Wands. This is really giving a 90s sort of feeling. The Two of Wands, really interesting. This snake, and great imagery. I absolutely love the Three of Wands. And again, compassion being quite an interesting word choice there, but this hand of statue showing a mudra, this is the colours. I think it's really beautiful, really striking. Four of Wands, I like the desert imagery. The Five of Wands, oppression. Six of Wands. I will say some of the image of children, it really reminds me of like kids' books that I would read in the 90s. I absolutely love the Seven of Wands. Yeah, I think what I was trying to say is it's that sort of Dorling Kindersley, if anyone had those kids' books that were on absolutely every subject, sort of reminds me of those. But yeah, the Seven of Wands, courage, and interesting reframing. Eight of Wands, harmony. Nine of Wands, and then we've got a lot of different religious buildings there. 10 of Wands, much more back to nature. And then let's see, I'll just move these into the order. Or yeah, I think this is missing some. So Sage of Wands, Child of Wands, Women of Wands. And again, we can see we've got a real mix of more traditional and indigenous imagery. With them, we've got like this manicured hand here is again much more modern. So it's definitely an eclectic mix. Then we've got Man of Wands, Ace of Cups. I absolutely love this image. And this one reminds me again of the Tantric Dakini Oracle, just with some of the colours and the mix of sort of deeply spiritual and almost kitschy imagery. And then this card sort of reminds me of some of the beautiful cards from the Ritual Tarot as well. Just I think it's probably the colour combination in it, but really stunning rendering. Okay, so the Sage of Wands, things have devolved here clearly. The Sage of Wands is here, but yeah, you get the idea. I think I'll just pop that back. The Three of Cups, again, really beautiful colors, and same with the Four of Cups, Five of Cups, Six of Cups, really nice vase there. The Seven of Cups, Fear, interesting, again, word choice for that card. And again, the Eight of Cups in the Rider-Waite-Smith often shows someone going on a journey, whereas here it says stagnation, which could be seen as the opposite, but it could also be seen as because of this stagnation, one needs to embark upon a journey. So I think sometimes words that seem at first like the opposite of the meaning could sometimes be part of a more fuller understanding of the meaning. Nine of Cups, Ten of Cups, absolutely stunning card. Let's see if I was, I was again confused by this order. So we've got the Sage of Cups, no child here, it's Child of Cups. Some of the imagery of a lot of children, I think that's the one that sort of places it in a more obvious time period, honestly, because a lot of the nature imagery, it could really be from any time, but I feel like it's really those pictures of children that's like very much of the 80s, 90s, and quite nostalgic, but perhaps in the same vein, like harder to connect with because it is more of a certain time. So that's just interesting, I feel like, and again, so personal. And that's what I like about this deck, that it's quite universal imagery in some senses, but in other senses, it really will just spark such personal responses from whoever's looking at the cards. The Three of Worlds, worlds being pentacles, earth element, and so we have a lot of earth imagery, we have a lot of planets, and again the deck is moving beyond our earth and into a broader lens, looking at the universe itself. So this one, the Nine of Worlds or Nine of Pentacles, is again one of my favorites. Harvest, most beautiful autumnal imagery, and yeah, it's a really beautiful card. Then the Ten of Worlds, Pentacles, quite interesting because again we have things that would be like historic treasures such as golden vases, but then we also have an ice cream sundae, we have chocolates, we have all in a supermarket trolley. So again, that's just such an interesting take on the card. And then we've got Sage of Worlds, Master here. Then just finishing off, because the cards were missing from the earlier edition, the Child of Worlds, Woman of Worlds, and Man of Worlds. So these are the two decks. The imagery is the same, but the card size, card thickness, and saturation level is slightly different. If I were choosing and price weren't an option, I'd certainly choose the older edition. However, I think the newer edition not only will be easier to shuffle because it's smaller, but also it's still a stunning deck. And if I'd have only seen this one, then I would be really, really happy with it. It's just if I would have to choose out of both of them. So yeah, you can let me know what you think in terms of the cards, what's in them, the differences between the two decks, and if you plan on using this deck yourself. Thanks for joining me today to have a look at the Voyager Tarot. Please let me know what you think. Has this made you more or less likely to want to work with it? Or do you work with it, and how is it for you? I'd love to hear. Please let me know if you're interested in seeing my reviews or looking at other decks of mine, because I personally really enjoy doing it. I love to share my tarot collection, and I just love to see how the world of tarot can be shown through the lenses of all different creators from around the world and from different time periods as well. So I hope you have a great day wherever you are, and I hope you continue to join me for some tarot videos, sewing videos, and just all around videos on creativity and things that I love. And yeah, I hope to see you again soon, and please do like and subscribe if you enjoyed this. So bye.